Alrighty, yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the tips. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. We're here with another week, of course. It is the big freeze round, so this is obviously big for the Melbourne Collingwood clash. Footy is also back on a Thursday night this week, which is great to see. And I'm already a little bit late with these tipping videos, doing it on a Wednesday. So hopefully next week I can do this a little bit earlier. So I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time. Let's jump straight into it and first go over my round 12 or 11 tips. I don't even remember what was last round, but yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we are, and as you'll first off see, I don't know how it's happened. If you watched my video last week, I actually tipped Melbourne, and I think I know what happened. I went to change the margin for what I'd selected for the D's to win, and somehow, I don't know how, I thought it was going to be closer, and I tipped 6 for the D's. Well, that's what I thought I did, and I must have somehow clicked Carlton. Didn't realize, so that was just terrible, absolutely terrible. I realized halfway through the game, and then I started cheering on the Blues, and of course, well, they let down as I expected, and you know why I tipped Melbourne in my video, and unfortunately, yeah, that happened. So really disappointing there, because in the end, I only got 4 out of 7, which is just terrible. If I'd got 5, it would have been respectable. But yeah, next up, we had Port here, absolute thrashing. Collingwood easily got it done. Bulldogs, what a disappointing loss for the Doggies there. Really should have won. After losing to a Geelong side with so many talented midfielders out. Next one here, and only really my good tip for the rounds where most people would have gone the Crows here, I believe. And yeah, the Gold Coast Suns, they are a good side. They've proven that they're actually decent at the moment. We know the Suns have done this before. They can drop off very quickly, but honestly, the way they won this game was very impressive. I think they were 6 goals down in the first half or whatever. 30-something points, and they just come back and win that in a way you just really didn't expect against the Crows that are known for being a side that just don't give up. So very, very respectable and a good win for the Suns here. And who do they have this week? I think they have the Blues this week, do they? I don't know. Maybe not the Blues. No, I think St Kilda have the Blues. I don't know who they have, but whoever it is, that you'd think they go in with a decent chance, at least. Next up, this one really hurt, because if I'd gotten this one, again, my tips would have actually been solid. Yeah, really good game. Close in the end. Just, it's unfortunate for the Giants. They've had a lot of close losses this year, and so had Richmond up until this point. I think they had lost 9 out of their last 10 games that had been decided by less than a goal. So they finally got one of those. They finally won one of those close matches with Marlon Pickett. Yeah, getting that match winner. So well done to the Tigers. And then last off, another close one. I mean, this round could have just gone terribly for me if Essendon didn't end up getting up. I honestly thought North were going to win at some point, but Essendon, they're lucky. They got away with that one there. They're going to absolutely have to have some better form next week when they play, I think it's Carlton, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's Carlton. So I think I'll still be backing them in this week. But yeah, anyway, that's my tips. 4 out of 7. Bottom 6, 78%. Terrible. Let's hopefully we do better this week. But yeah, on to round 13. All right, I have already thought about some of my tips here, and straight off the bat, Sydney coming off a few decent wins here. They've had the bye last week, but they did win 2 in a row against the Blues and North Melbourne. Both were really not convincing to me. Now, I know St Kilda have also had a bit of a rocky run the past month, really. They've got win, loss, and then they had the bye. So for me, in all honesty, this should be a close game. And just because it's at the SCG, I'm not going to be tipping the Swans here. Now, I think this is going to be a very close game now. Now, I know it's at the SCG here, and usually the Swans have been good at the SCG, but I still don't think the Swans are back to form like they were last year. And I've been, well, really just more impressed with what St Kilda have been able to put together this year. So I'm going to go to St Kilda Saints by 16 points. I think it's going to be a close one. I expect it to be. Both of these sides are pretty evenly matched, I would say. But I just think St Kilda's defense is going to hold up better, so I'm hoping they get the win here. So I will go St Kilda by 16. Also, I just did forget, it is Buddy Franklin's 350th, so that's probably going to play a part, but screw it, I'm going to go with the St Kilda here and just stick with that. Alright, this one is going to be a genuine toss-up as well, and I'll just start off by saying, whoever wins this game, it's not even going to surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if the Doggies win it at Marvel. Wouldn't surprise me if Marvel just get it done easily and sort of just own that second position. And I know the Doggies are in 7th and they've lost 2, but I genuinely don't know here. I think this is going to be a close one. They're more than capable of winning this, the Western Bulldogs. I'm not sure. It's probably even stupid that I'm thinking about this, most people would probably just go Port Adelaide with the click of a finger. I mean, they've won 9 in a row, I believe. Look, I really think the Bulldogs can win this, and I don't know why I want to tip them, but in my head, something is telling me that is stupid. So I am going to go with Port Adelaide, and they better not let me down here. Jeez, I'm not feeling confident about this one really anyway. And there's nothing that I can really say to convince myself either. So let me know what you guys are doing for this. I'm going to go the Port Adelaide Power here. They'll go 10 in a row. But again, really wouldn't surprise me if the Western Bulldogs come and just get a win here. That, like, it's funny because we expected them to win the last 2 weeks against the Suns and then the Cats. But now this week, when probably most people wouldn't expect them to win, it wouldn't surprise me if they go ahead and win. So, such a hard one to tip, especially the Western Bulldogs. They're such an inconsistent team. But yeah, I'll go Port Adelaide. And moving on to Saturday here, where we have Hawthorn and the Lions. It's at the MCG, and usually, well, I wouldn't give the Lions a great chance at the MCG because, well, they just don't play great away from home historically, but I will go the Brisbane Lions. Yeah, I mean, come on, it's Hawthorn. Don't really care that Hawthorn have won the last 3, and that has been at home. They've got a really convincing recent record here. So maybe this is going to be closer than I suspect. I don't know. I'll go the Lions though, and I'm just going to hope they get it done. Alrighty, next up here, another one that I'm not going to ramble on for too long. Adelaide, they're going to get it done over the West Coast Eagles at Adelaide Oval. West Coast Eagles, like, they did play a decent third quarter against the Pies last week, but it's just not something they can sustain at the moment, and they're just not good enough to stick to the way they play their game, and without opposition teams, you know, sort of taking that away from them pretty quickly. So I'll say Adelaide go ahead and win it here, as they should. And I think Tex Walker's playing his 250th game, I believe. So you'd think they absolutely get up and about here, and, you know, Tex Walker kicks at least 4 goals. So yeah, I'll be going Adelaide here. Alrighty, next up here, we got the Dockers taking on Richmond. This is another difficult one. Richmond, they did have a very good win here against the Giants, and I think the Giants played well also. So it was just overall a pretty competitive game. For those who've watched it, obviously know that. But I think Freo at home now, they've found a bit of form. They're looking relatively stable. I'm still not fully convinced, because this, in my opinion, is like a banana slip game for Freo. This will tell the truth. You know, are they really back? Because if they do drop this one, then we know they're not really back to their actual form. Even though they have won 4 on the trot, they're still sitting in 10th. But I will go ahead and tip Freo here, and hopefully they get it done and don't disappoint. I will say, just for the argument's sake, you know, they win by 21 points. Why not? Alrighty, next up here, the Sunday game. The first one on the Sunday. This is actually a very interesting matchup, because I have seen some other tipping videos, and other people are giving North a chance here. And as they should at Blundstone Arena, because they do play good there. But honestly, I've really liked what I've seen from the Giants this year. And I know they're sitting at 15th, and they've only won, 3 or 4 games. But honestly, they've just had some decent performances without getting the win. 2 goals to St Kilda. What else have they had here? Close loss to the Doggies. And a goal lost to the Richmond. And the only real blowout they've had is against the Pies, where they lost by, 50 or whatever points. So I'm going Giants here, and I think they're going to hopefully back me up here. And even though it is at Blundstone Arena, and I think they had a draw here a few years ago. Back in 2021. So we'll see how we go there. I'll go the Giants, and so they get it done comfortably by 25 or so points. All right, next one here. And no disrespect to Carlton whatsoever, but I just cannot give them a chance. Carlton are going to be one of these teams here where I'm just going to constantly tip against them until they eventually get a game right and I get the tip wrong. But I don't care. I'm just doing it that way because, well, they just don't play well. They're just not playing well whatsoever. And I mean, I just can't find a reason to tip them. Honestly, Essendon, they should win this. We're talking 6th position versus 14th. Essendon, they've put together a solid season so far. Yes, they have had an easy draw, and they didn't have a super convincing win against North Melbourne, but I am going to say they go ahead and get it done here when it matters against an opposition that should be competing for a top 8 spot. Again, as all games with Carlton, they can easily win. All it takes is, Mackay and Curnow to switch on and have a good game, and that's it. They can win by 30 or so points, but I'm going Essendon here. Alrighty, last game of the round, guys. The big game, one of the biggest home and away games of the season. I will be going to this, of course, and vlogging it. Now, you guys know I'm going to tip Pies regardless. But let's talk about this game for a second here, because this is a massive one. I think we're going to find out a bit more about Melbourne from this game, whether they win or lose. They're the team that's in a bit of rocky form. They'd previously lost 2 before beating Carlton, and I don't even think they convincingly bet Carlton. Carlton almost seemed to bring them down to the level they were playing. It was a very scrappy game, and I just don't think Melbourne have been humming, okay? They are in 3rd position, and they're lucky to be there because, honestly, if it wasn't for Brisbane dropping a few games or a team like St Kilda dropping a few games, they may not be in that top 4 spot at the moment, but this is going to be a massive game. Brodie Grundy, first game against the Pies here. And I'm going to go ahead and say that Collingwood get it done by 3 goals here. De Goey is out. Clayton Oliver's probably going to be in. We're going to have Pat Lipinski coming straight in for De Goey, so I don't think it's going to be a massive loss here. I highly rate Paddy Lipinski, and I think he's a great player. So I am going to be going the Pies here. Hopefully we get it done and continue on to, I think, what would also be a 9 streak as well. So, yeah, guys, that is my tips for this round. And what year did the Adelaide Crows get founded? I think it was 1990. I don't actually know there. Looks like most people go 1990. But yeah, tips: St Kilda, Port Adelaide, Lions, Adelaide, Freo, the Giants, Essendon, and Collingwood. So yeah, guys, that is it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tipping comms are down below. And I'll catch you guys in the Matchday vlog coming out probably Tuesday. Bye-bye.